Hello there and welcome once again to my video series on using the Social Wi-Fi dashboard. In this video we are going to be looking at the login codes, and it's going to be a little bit longer than the usual videos because there are quite a few options here and we have to jump around two or three parts of the Social Wi-Fi dashboard. So there's a bit more detail to go into on this video. The login codes are configured in venues. So in this case, we're looking at our Santorini hotel example. But if you go into any venue, you will see that we have login codes as an option on the left-hand side, down towards the bottom here. And on the left-hand side of the page, you can see that we have reusable passwords. And on the right-hand side, we have one-time codes. So the one-time codes would be a password that somebody can use once on one device and then nobody else can use that. We also have login access codes and login bypass codes, and there's a significant difference between the two, and you need to set these up correctly in order for it to work correctly. So let's touch on that first. What is the difference between login access code and the login bypass code? Very simply, login access codes are used on the pre-login page, and a login bypass code is used on the login page itself. So let me show you what I mean by this. If we take a look in our splash pages section, let's have a look at pre-login page first. It's an optional part of the login system. You don't need to have this page. But one of the things that you can put on this page is a padlock. And in here, people would put a login access code. You'll notice on this page we don't have the Facebook login option or the email login option or anything like that. This is intended purely as a page for advertising. You can put YouTube videos on here as well, but there's also this ability to have a password for you to access the Wi-Fi login page. Now, it's not applicable to every business, but we do have clients that, for example, they have a coffee shop over the road from a school or a college, and they don't want the students using their Wi-Fi when they're not customers. So that's a good example of people that would like to use this. A login bypass code, on the other hand, is something that is on the Wi-Fi login page itself. So in this example here, you see we've got the full set of login options. But occasionally you're going to have people that say, hey, look, I don't want to log in like this. I don't want to leave my email address or anything like that. And, you know, there are ways they can opt out of marketing information and things like that. But sometimes you're going to come across people that are really adamant, just give me access to the internet. So from the login widgets section, you can select the login code form and you can drop this on here. And you can see that we have a little padlock right there, and I can I can configure this up and put some color on here. I'm not matching the colors exactly, but if I spent a little bit more time on this, I could make it look like the rest of the page. I could change that font color in there as well, just using the tool, but I'll keep that as black for now. Anyway, you can also click toggle codes and form button up here in the top right, and you get a preview of what that form looks like. Very much the same as the previous page. Login access codes are used on the pre-login page. Login bypass codes are used on the login page itself. So let's go back to the login codes tab and let's have a look at our options for creating these codes. If you want to create reusable passwords that everybody can use an unlimited amount of times, then you're going to use the left-hand side of this screen. So we click add here, we type in what we want the password to be. So let's call this password Marina123$. And we have to select the type of password that we want. Do we want this on the pre-login page or do we want this on the login page itself? So we choose what we want, we enable it, and we hit create, and that password is now instantly usable in order to grant access to the network. If you want to turn that off, toggle enabled off again and hit save. Very, very simple. If you want to create one-time codes, perhaps something that your staff will hand out to people on perhaps a little sheet of paper, and they can only be used once on one device, then we're going to use the right-hand side of the page. So these are called one-time codes. We can edit these up by saying how long they are valid for. So 24 hours is the default. People will need a new code after 24 hours. And then we can download some codes for the pre-login page and for the login page itself. It's going to download a file in Excel. You can open that, you can print that off, and then cut that up and give it to your team to hand out to your customers. It's a very good way to ensure only your customers are using your Wi-Fi network. Like I said, it can take a little bit of time to set up because you need to generate the code, you need to have the login code form on the splash pages themselves. But once you've got that set up, the only thing that you might need to do from time to time is download more of the codes if you're using the one-time codes. By default, you'll get 100 on each export, but there's no limit to how many times you can hit that download button. So if today you wanted to get 1,000, you can create 10 downloads and print them all out and they'll be good to go. There's no need to worry about tracking which ones are not used. They will be available indefinitely, but you can download as many codes as you want. So hopefully that's helpful. We do have more articles on this in the Academy where you can find more details. If you are having any problems with this, you can reach out to the support team through the dashboard or in the Academy or just on support@socialwifi.com, and we'll be happy to help you set this up should you be having any problems.